Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine and I'm a textile print and surface designer based in sunny UAE. Today we're going to be reviewing a recent fabric haul from an online Indian platform called Fabcurate. Alright, so this is how the fabrics arrive in your typical polymailer plastic sleeve. Inside that you have another non-woven bag with all the fabrics neatly folded together. I'll only be covering 6 out of 10 of the textiles that I've bought because some are duplicate fabrics in different colorways. The first fabric I want to start off with is this plain cotton lining. I really like the shade of yellow. It's almost like a cadmium, but in artificial lighting, it tends to look a lot more lighter, almost like a pastel buttercup. Nonetheless, it's beautiful, and I know that it's a lining fabric, but I think you can easily get away with using this for a nice light shirt or jacket, especially in the GCC summers. The only tiny detail that I did not expect was that it does have that waxy coat that some manufacturers apply to minimize wrinkles. I'm hoping that once I put it in the wash, it does wear off so that you get a nice, softer surface and drape with the fabric. I've been seeing some really pretty outerwear using organza, and I was really hoping to make the same, but honestly, with my experience of sourcing fabric, I feel like this is one textile that needs to be sourced in person because it can literally be a hit or miss. It can either make a garment look like it's straight out of the runway, super chic and classy, or like something you'd find at a school's costume department. This one is called a premium liquid organza and it's in the color fire yellow. It's exotic, it's really vibrant, though honestly I would not classify this as premium. It feels more like an upgraded version of one of those lightweight polyester linings, only in a sheer finish. It's soft, no doubt, and feels very smooth, yet I think this would be best suited for something that has more of a Indian or Desi aesthetic. I think you can see the pattern here. I'm clearly obsessed with sourcing fabrics with vivid colors. This one's a beautiful rose red as listed on the website. It gives me major Catalan, Spanish, flamenco vibes. It feels fresh, it feels vibrant. Although texture wise, it does feel a little more of a Georgette crepe than an organza, which tends to be a little stiff, even though it can be really smooth like the previous one that we saw. This one feels very, very relaxed as a fabric, which is why I kind of had my doubts. But again, there's so many varieties of organza. This is again very new for me, so I'm excited to see how this would perhaps drape as a dress or be used as an outer shell for another fabric. It's really hard to find what I call RGB shades of colors these days, so when I found this shade of violet, I had to grab a few meters of it because I had visions of using it either as a contrast lining for a jacket or even just turning it into a nice oversized tote with underlining, which is using the same fabric as my lining fabric. Also adding a couple of trims because I think it would really make this color pop. In terms of quality, this is a standard butter crepe, so nothing really different, pretty ordinary. What you get out here in the UAE and elsewhere. So nothing much to report here. Moving on to this digital printed poly micro crepe fabric. I've seen a lot of pieces in this print online, and I really wanted to procure this particular textile because the cream stripe really complements the tiger orange and gives it this very 1950s vintage feel, especially with that smooth micro crepe texture. It's very light, and I like that, the orange kind of blocks whatever it is that you have underneath, so you don't need lining for it. And it's cute, it's simple, and I just genuinely wanted to see how the digitally printed fabrics at Fabcurate fares. Verdict is that it's pretty standard, and I don't see anything bleeding. I don't see any issues of any sort, so I think it's pretty good so far. As I mentioned earlier, it's super hot out here in the UAE, and I know cambric cotton has that ideal natural feel combined with its super lightweight properties. The weight was exactly what I was looking for, however, the color is a different story. This particular clip was recorded 2 weeks ago when the shade was still called Taffy Pink on the website. However, when I went on to the platform to screenshot the details for you all, they had changed it to Baby Pink, which is what it should have been earlier. They do have a disclaimer that colors can vary, but there's a pretty big difference between Taffy Pink and what I received. The shade is very similar to the ones used for bed sheets and linen, so you can imagine why I wasn't very happy with the color on this one. And again, I'm really happy that they rectified it finally. So here's the lowdown. Intention for this fabric haul was to just stitch some simple pieces for my wardrobe with the tailor. And for that reason, I think that the quality pretty much met its purpose. Total cost of the fabrics plus the stitching is almost equivalent to getting something that's ready made at the mall. Except technically you get a better fit and it's customized to your liking. Basically, I'm trying to say that the fabric is pretty much the equivalent of something that you get at the mall, except it would be a little bit higher, typical fast fashion quality. Then again, these are just a few pieces that I had ordered. And trust me, they have a wide variety of fabrics, which means you have to experiment with a couple of more fabrics, just like I did. Price point wise, I have no complaints whatsoever because they have sales every now and then. If you're shipping internationally, please do note that there is a customs fee. Speaking of shipping, touch wood, I had the most seamless experience and timely updates from the supplier. To just add on, I was really impressed by the fact that even though the packaging was very basic, and I was kind of hoping that the fabrics would be packed separately in some kind of newspaper or plastic bag so that they don't kind of bleed into each other, since that tends to happen with temperature. Not a single textile had a stain or tear, and this is one of the biggest issues that a lot of people face when they order fabric online. One tiny thing though that I think that the company would really benefit from is selling some kind of fabric swatch book, which would help us as customers pick fabrics at our leisure and not assume that something might be something else. And it's a win-win for the platform as well, because then they reduce their whole exchange and returns inventory. I have attached the website in the description box below, along with my Instagram account if you're curious to see what I've done with the fabrics. Until then, thanks for watching the video and see you in the next one.